Hello, everybody. Today I will be doing Eeveelution designs of Eevee evolutions that don't exist. And so I wanted to just start by picking out 4 Pokemon types that I really like and that there isn't an Eevee evolution of yet. So I picked out Ghost, Bug, Fairy, and Poison, just because I like those Pokemon types. I think they're cool. And as you can see here, I'm sketching out my initial ideas. For the Bug type, I tried to make it look kind of alien. The Ghost type, I just went with some general like ghosty vibes. Fairies make me think of like bright, glittery, pink, purple, blue colors and wings. And even though I didn't give the fairy Eevee fairy wings, I just prefer drawing, honestly just prefer drawing like actual bird wings over fairy wings. So I gave her a bunch of wings, and here I'm like doing a second sketch for some of these to just kind of solidify it more. I also wanted the fairy type to look kind of deer-like with the ears. And I gave her like a tail of like wings. And I'm sketching over some of these and fleshing them out more. And here we go. I'm moving to the line art, and I've been experimenting with my style a lot lately. And this is when it occurred to me that I don't really need the line art to necessarily be like fully like, this is when it occurred to me that I could just keep using the brush that I was already using. Because I really like this brush a lot. It's just like a default marker brush on Clip Studio Paint. And, I honestly sometimes prefer sketching things out more than doing the actual line art. And I always struggle when it comes to having to make the line art look super clean. And it occurred to me I don't really need to do that. So I decided to just go ahead and use the same brush and just, layer it on to add more like range of value with things, which you'll see a little bit of that later. Because the method I use for coloring doesn't even like use the paint bucket tool anymore. I used to use the paint bucket tool. And when you use the paint bucket tool, it's like really important to make sure make sure your lines are like fully, what's the word? Whatever the opposite of transparent is. It's like the opacity is at like 100%. So fully opaque, I guess. But I don't do that anymore these days. I just use the magic wand and then like reverse it. And so here I gave the poison type this tail that like looks like a snake, and I debated back and forth with myself whether I should make it like an actual snake or just a tail that looks like a snake. So I kind of made it like fluffy but kind of snake looking, kind of like how out in nature animals will like get certain patterns to scare off predators. So that's what I was thinking when I designed it like that. And I really love drawing wings, and you'll see that in the future when my Warriors Paintify series finally gets to like Power of 3 and I'm drawing characters like Jayfeather. Or like when we get to Omen of the Stars and I'll be drawing Dovewing. When I started out with my like Warriors Paintify series, I started out trying to keep the designs like very generic. And then I realized that that was just boring, and I didn't like doing that. Like, I don't mean it was boring, like it was boring for me personally. That I realized I would have a lot more fun if I let myself break some rules. So you're gonna see a lot of that moving forward, of me like exaggerating designs or taking parts of their names literally in their designs, just because it's a lot more fun for me. And in the past I've seen some people say things like about how your cat designs should stay relatively like realistic looking. And personally, I don't know. I feel like there's nothing wrong with sticking to like a more realistic. Oh yeah, and here I'm making the basic Eevee emo because I thought that would be fun. Because like I just wanted to add some stuff, so I gave my Eevee eyeliner and dyed hair and some earrings. Yeah, and but you know, I think that's great if you want to design characters like that. But honestly, I've been feeling really inspired by a lot of Warrior Cat's maps that like take a more creative, that take a more creative, exaggerated like level with the designs. And I honestly cannot remember the name of the person who's been hosting a lot of these, but you know, just like the person who did that. So like I'm thinking about like that Daisy map and the one with like Jay Feather and Flametail. I just think it's really cool. Oh yeah, and of course, shoot, the like the one with Hollyleaf where Soul is drawn as like a serpent. I think it's really cool and fun when those designs are exaggerated and taken to the next level. So I'm trying my own hand at it a little bit with and if you've been watching this series, like you can see how I've been giving Firepaw like a tail of fire and fire on his ears and stuff, like every time I draw him. And I used to be like really upset when I couldn't keep my designs perfectly consistent, like animation studio level of consistent from like panel to panel, because I draw comics sometimes and I haven't done that in a little while. And part of it is because of that, I would frustrate myself to no end trying to keep the design super consistent. And I've decided to just embrace the inconsistency, because like it is, I just have a lot more fun when I find that I'm able to like actually enjoy drawing a lot more when I'm not so hung up on keeping it like looking exactly the same every panel. And you know, and the thing is, like, the way you draw a character is going to change over time, and that's already happening with my Warriors Paintify series. And I'm sure the designs will continue to change, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, anyway, I'm adding some like value, like differences in value to these characters. And honestly, I feel like I haven't really done something like this in a while, where I just kind of use like a translucent brush to just add on these like details and shadows and stuff. Because for a while I've been like feeling like I had to do that in the coloring, and I've been trying to take more time with my art and actually like add whatever details I would like to add instead of rushing through it. Because I don't know, I feel really good being able to complete something, and if it starts taking too long, I start to get anxious I'm never gonna complete it. Anyways, if you'd like to see more videos like this, please let me know. This is my first time doing any kind of like Pokemon design video. Honestly, I've been really wanting to try doing more art where I redesign like characters from TV shows. I really like designing characters and redesigning characters. It's just really fun. One thing that does, I guess, worry me a little bit is I'm worried that like the redesign's gonna be taken as a criticism on the original. But I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter posting like My Little Pony redesign characters, like redesigns of like the main 6 ponies, and I thought that looked like a lot of fun, so I might do that next. So So I'm just adding some extra like feathers to these wings as well. If you see a lot of like jumps or like cuts around, that's because while I was drawing these characters, my cat kept wanting to play with me. So I'd get up and go play with her until she seemed like really bored, and I'd go back and sit down to draw, and she would come back like 15 minutes later meowing at me like I want to play. So I had to cut out a lot of stuff of the camera just like sitting there recording nothing. Okay, here we go. Finally on to color. So for this bug Eevee, I just really wanted to like give it a very alien looking kind of vibe. So I gave him like 6 eyes and some ladybug wings, and the tail is striped, kind of like a bee or a wasp. I'm honestly personally terrified of bees, but I thought it, you know, kind of helped enhance the bug feel, the bug vibe of this design. And I'm adding like several shades of blue, and I've got this thing where like I try not to add more than two, I guess, hues of the same color in one design, because I feel like 3 is just like too much. Sometimes I break that, but I've got like a light blue, a dark blue, a purple. Sometimes I worry my designs are a little too colorful. That's like a bit chaotic, but I really like using bright colors a lot. I just really enjoy designs with like very bright colors, but I try to at least not go so bright that it hurts your eyes, because I really relate to that issue, honestly. I know that really bright colors can be an issue for people with epilepsy, even if it's not flashing lights. I've heard like bright colors, like on their own, can be an issue if it's very bright. And honestly, I don't like, I am really sensitive to the light, and I don't really like things that hurt my eyes. So I do try to keep it like at least reasonable, but I do really like my bright colors. I'm giving Eevee some like purple hair, green eye. Purple and green just go really well together. And I'm starting to do a bit of like kind of lighting, shading kind of stuff, trying to reuse the colors again. I like trying to keep my color palettes very like uniform. I'm making the ghost blue. I think originally I was gonna make the ghost like blue and purple, but then I changed my mind and went with kind of a blue and green. Look, I have a personal, like in my mind, headcanon for this ghost Eevee that like she is like totally scared of other people. And tries to be scary, but ends up scaring herself more often. And that's why I made her like pupils like so small, is because she's actually pretty scared of you, honestly. Yeah, and I gave her some green hair, and I drew it and I was like, that looks like seaweed, and then I was like, that actually works. I don't know why, but like ghosts and seaweed, actually that has nothing to do with those two things have nothing to do with each other, but in my mind, I was like, sure, ghosts with seaweed hair, that works. And we are moving on to the fairy character, and it wasn't until I was editing this that I realized I totally should have gone with like pink and blue and white, so I could have like another transgender Eevee. I just remembered Sylveon's totally got the transgender colors going on, but I ended up going with just some shades of like pink and white and stuff, and some purple. All I needed to do was add a little bit of blue, and it would have been perfect. Oh, I'm such a fool. I wanted her to look a little deer-like. Because, like, you know, fairy tales, I don't know, deer just feel very magical. They feel like a very magical animal. I guess I probably could have given her some antlers. That would have been fun. I guess I just didn't really think of it in the moment. I gave her those little deer spots and stuff. And here I am going in and adding more like shading and stuff. Hi there, Dora. Do you wanna say something to the audience? Okay, she doesn't have anything to say, I guess. Dora's my cat. She's coming to hang out. Hi, Dora. How are you doing? Yeah, Dora's gonna hang out. And as I'm moving on to coloring, finally the poison type. I've tried to make this one look very edgy and punk because poison's very edgy and punk, I guess. Gave him some skulls. This character, so this Eevee feels very, I don't know, this character feels just very gender, honestly. Very, like, genderqueer, butch kind of vibes going on with this one. I always kind of, like, headcanon. I don't know, even if I'm designing a character that doesn't necessarily have a gender, I just, like, assign them pronouns mentally, automatically. So this character's pronouns are, like, she, they, but also really doesn't mind being referred to with more masculine words either, just in general. Dora has taken place of the laptop. She's taken the laptop's place. Anyways, yeah, so that is my 4 Eevee evolutions that I've designed. We've got bug type, ghost type, fairy type, and poison type. I hope you really enjoyed watching. The next Warrior Cats Paintify should be out soon, and I'll see you all later.